Self-Defense Force was deployed to spray water into a storage pool for spent nuclear fuel rods inside the number 3 reactor building. It started the operation at 7:35 p.m. on Thursday and finished at 8:09 p.m. Police also began spraying water this evening but were unable to reach the building. As the radiation level was high, they decided to suspend the operation. The operation came in response to rising fears that a large amount of radiation may leak, as water in the pools for spent nuclear fuel is believed to be vaporizing due to a failure of the cooling system. Now, this could expose the fuel rods, causing them to melt and discharge radioactive material into the air. The Tokyo Electric Power Company says it decided to start the spraying operation at the number 3 reactor building when it saw steam coming from it. The power company also said on Wednesday that they saw still water in the pool at the number 4 reactor building. On Thursday morning, Japan's Self-Defense Force helicopters dumped seawater on the crippled number 3 reactor building for the first time. 2 CH-47 helicopters dropped 7.5 tons of water 4 times each. The first water-dropping operation lasted for 13 minutes. The company also says that since the water-dropping operation, it has observed almost the same levels of radiation at a point about 100 meters from a number 3 reactor building. Now, Tokyo Electric Power Company says a blackout in and around Tokyo will be avoided on Thursday night. And this is a picture of fire engines spraying water onto getting ready to spray water onto the reactor. And this just in, Japan's Self-Defense Force has just started spraying water into the number 3 reactor building. That's causing a lot of trouble to cool down its spent fuel storage pools. Once again, Japan's Self-Defense Force has just started spraying water into the number 3 reactor building to cool down its spent fuel storage pools. Once again, Japan's Self-Defense Force has just started spraying water into the number 3 reactor building to cool down its spent fuel storage pools. And this is a picture of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant where the number 3 reactor is located. And this image was taken just before 6 o'clock p.m. Japan time. This is the picture of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant where the number 3 reactor is located. And this image you're watching right now on your screen was taken just before 6 o'clock p.m. Japan time. Defense Minister Toshimi Kitazawa told a news conference that he expects the latest operation to cool the reactor to be successful.
As you're already well aware, this morning, starting from 9:48 a.m. Japan Standard Time, the Self-Defense Forces helicopter squad have been deployed and have started aerial operations spraying water onto reactor number 3. Thereafter, in total, there have been 4 such operations conducted by air. With the water being funneled into the spent fuel pool, we believe that it will help to cool down the fuel.
Kitazawa said it would be best if they can repeat the operation as many times as possible, but will make his decision after considering the risks it poses to the health of his troops. The U.S. military says one of its unmanned surveillance aircraft has captured images of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. The collected data has been given to the Japanese government.
According to the U.S. military, the Japanese government requested for information gathering with unmanned surveillance aircraft due to concern that long-time aerial photographing and filming of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant could affect the health of the workers. In response, the U.S. military offered a Global Hawk unmanned surveillance aircraft deployed at Andersen Air Base in Guam for precise aerial photographing and filming of the damage to the nuclear power plant buildings. The data is being provided to the Japanese government. Global Hawk is widely used in military operations in Afghanistan and other places. The U.S. military has been already using the aircraft to grasp the situation of the disaster-hit areas in Japan.
Tokyo Electric Power Company, the operator of the stricken Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant, says it will begin installing new power lines to restore the plant's cooling systems. The Nuclear and Industrial Safety Agency announced this on Thursday. It said restoring power to the plant is next in importance to cooling the number 3 and number 4 spent fuel storage pools.
Second priority is to restore power supply, and part of this operation is going to start this afternoon. Once we get power supply, and then we'll be able to operate a cooling system using seawater.
But the Tokyo Electric Power says the pumps were doused with seawater and needed to be repaired. The power company plans to use makeshift pumps to connect to the systems. Earlier, Osaka University's Akira Yamaguchi told us how installing new power lines to the nuclear power plant will help.
TEPCO is attempting to restore its high-voltage power. What does that mean? Restoring high-voltage power, according to information from TEPCO, has to do with connecting an external power source to their power supply system. If they can get their high-voltage power back up, they can use various power sources to execute a variety of measures. What kind of power sources will they need? What kind of devices will they be able to use then? For the spent fuel rod pool, there's actually a pump that is needed to recycle the water, to circulate the water. By circulating the water, it will be possible to cool down the spent fuel rod pool and the core. There are many systems that are involved in cooling down the heat. Once the various pumps can get going, they will be able to function steadily and over the long run to cool down the core. However, one thing to note is that just because the power is restored, that does not mean that the coolant system will be back up. The pumps need to be properly connected to the power supply in order for the pumps to move. That part also needs to be taken in account.
This just in, Japan's Self-Defense Force has just started spraying water into the number 3 reactor building to cool down its spent fuel storage pools. Japan's Self-Defense Force has just started spraying water